Mega Man X is one of the greatest action platformers ever made. It's got tight controls, incredible music, and so many upgrades you'll be blowing its back out within 2 hours, but I prefer when games hurt me. I want them to put me through a wood chipper of difficulty, and Mega Man X was the first game I ever played. Imagine that, little innocent me in my room playing Mega Man, getting my face slammed into the ceiling repeatedly by Boomer Kawanger. So that's why today, I want to push this game to its limits. First of all, I'm deleting all the special weapons from the game. If you don't know Ball, when Mega Man beats a boss, he gets a little new shooter, meaning you beat a penguin, you get some ice. Beat an alligator, you get some spiky death wheels, but I don't want any of it. I want Mega Man to be shooting lemons and little blue shits all day long. While I'm at it, I don't want any armor either. So what if Dr. Light spent years perfecting what it can do? I don't need it. Shit probably smells bad from sitting in a capsule for hundreds of years anyway. And you know what else? Fuck taking damage. I got 1 health. If a mosquito takes a tinkle on my wrist, I contract robohepatitis and have to die and reset the stage. Sound fair? No? Good. Now, before we get into it, 2 things I need to address for the uninitiated. 1, I'm not doing the story. Go watch the Day of Sigma OVA or something. It's like 25 minutes. Do your homework. 2, and this is the important one, X1 has 2 instances of force damage baked into the plot. Vile grabs you and you say, "Aw, fuck." If you came here expecting to watch me turn Vile into a smoking pile of scrap using some magic I pulled out of my ass and have Zero standing there going, "Damn, X, I didn't even get to scream over my dead girlfriend yet." I'm sorry, but that's not the video. You can't do X1 completely damageless. Womp womp. Now that that's out of the way, the intro stage. You know what I love about old games? They didn't hold your hand. You booted this thing up and it went, "Okay, motherfucker, figure it out." No tutorial pop-up going, "Did you know you can move right by pushing right?" Like, thanks, numbnuts, no shit. The intro stage just drops you in and trusts that you are a person with functioning eyes and a brain, and I respect that more than I can express. I only got hit once, and that was entirely my fault because I was being a dumbass. So we're not going to talk about it. Moving on, Vile punches me and Zero shows up being a badass and becoming my childhood hero. God, he's so cool. Then it's onto the boss select screen. 8 animal-shaped Mavericks we get to take turns punching. Or irregulars if you prefer the Japanese version, but that makes me feel like I'm punching disabled kids, so we'll just stick with Mavericks. We've got a penguin, a mammoth, a chameleon, a spark monkey, a storm bird, a wheel gator. Wait, wrong game. And whatever the hell a Kawanger is. Yes, I know it's a stag beetle, shut up, it's a joke. Now, the order I'm going to do this in might look insane to anyone who's played this game before, because I'm starting with Flame Mammoth. The reason for this is that I'm leaving Chill Penguin for last, because even though he's basically my cousin, we need to make sure we spend as much time away from the dreaded leg capsule as we can, since we can't fucking use him. Flame Mammoth stage was honestly pretty fine. The one thing I will say is that I don't normally do this stage before beating Chill Penguin, so I completely blanked on the fire pillars even existing. It gave me a brief moment of why the fuck's the floor attacking me before my brain caught up with my body. Mammoth himself wasn't really a fight though. This was just a bullying session. The kind you do to your younger sibling when you just put your hand on their forehead and they can't really do anything back to you. Enjoy it, cherish it, because that fucking octopus, yes I'm talking to you, really pissed me off. Stage 2, Spark Mandrill. And yeah, this stage looks really weird without the lights going out. That's a Storm Eagle thing, and without it, the whole area is just a brightly lit tunnel full of enemies ready to explode my balls at any second. The only real hiccup of the stage was the mini-boss that stuck his goo on my feet like a redditor and took me down 4 times. I don't really have anything to say about this thing, but it has a face that looks like Sid the Sloth got shoved up the ass of a Starmie and can't figure out why girls only go for asshole jocks. The boss himself though, okay, I have to be honest with you. I've beaten Spark Mandrill approximately 1,000 times. And I thought, you know what? I've never done it without the shotgun ice, but how different could it be? Fuck off! I'm not on the wall! The answer is that I was catastrophically, spiritually, and get my affairs in order wrong. Completely wrong. This shit took over 20 tries. He's sparking, he's drilling. He's grabbing me by the collar and personally escorting me into the wall at a speed that I can only describe as intimate. By attempt 15, I'm sure to him I had stopped being a person and just became an inconvenience that he acknowledged out of habit. He is never going to remember my name. Stage 3, and damn, we're moving fast, aren't we? Sting Chameleon is a nice difficulty drop, and thank God. The stage itself is mostly fine except for the cave section that can go directly to hell because I'm so not used to dealing with those falling rocks. Normally, I have the capsule which makes them stop, and without it, it's just me staring at the ceiling like, when's the next one? Where's it coming from? Is today the day a rock gives me brain damage? It's not great. The boss himself is just tedious as hell, not really hard, just tedious, because he won't stop teleporting for 5 consecutive seconds. Just stand still, I'm trying to shoot you. He's there, then he's not, and then he's on the wall, and then he's gone again. It felt less like a boss fight and more like trying to swat a fly in a dark room, but compared to Mandrill, vacation. Absolute vacation. Storm Eagle's up next, and I genuinely have nothing bad to say about this stage. The whole thing just clicked and I floated through it like I actually knew what I was doing for once. The boss fight against Eagle is really just fighting the American spirit. It tries to blow you away, and when that doesn't work, it both throws its kids at the problem and dive bombs you, and yet somehow still can't figure out why no one wants to be in the same room as it. I'm gonna remember this fight fondly while I process what he does to me in Sigma Stage 2. Boomer Kawanger is next, and I need to stop the video for a second because this stage theme. God, I love this stage theme. I don't know who composed it, I don't know what they were smoking, and I don't know what emotional state they were in, but this might be my favorite theme in all of Mega Man history. This and Volt Catfish from X3 are some of the best pieces of Mega Man music. Whoever made them just cooked. And they cooked hard. The stage itself is vertical, which I was a little nervous about, but the only real problem was these stupid lasers. Got my ass handed to me by the lasers more than the enemies and the platforming combined. When I finally reached Kawanger, I was feeling pretty good about myself. And then he flung me into the ceiling and I briefly wanted to eat nails. Bruh. But on the next attempt, about halfway through, Michael Jackson here just realized he wasn't going to win and started moonwalking all over the place, taunting me to waste my time. So let's keep this Maverick ass-kicking train going. Armored Armadillo. Now here's the thing about this stage. The boss himself didn't kill me once, not even one single time. What did kill me repeatedly was his fucking peacock at the start of the stage. Ostrich? Whatever it is, I slammed my head into this thing at least 5 times before the stage really got going. I don't know what that says about me as a person, but here we are. Armadillo over here is the slowest boss fight I have ever experienced in recent memory. The fight is just a reverse game of pinball where the DVD logo hates you and you can't figure out why firing in a straight line hasn't worked despite putting 100 rounds into the wall. Fighting this guy without Spark Mandrill's weapon is like pulling teeth with no anesthetic. He just blocks everything. He's just standing there, blocking.
Why are you blocking? Stop blocking!
Next up is Launch Octopus, and this is where things get properly miserable. The stage has 2 mini-bosses. Wait, 3 mini-bosses? Well, it has 2 that matter, because whoever designed this firing pattern needs to explain themselves to me personally. The rest of the stage has basically no hazards to speak of, but then there's Launch Octopus. Have you ever tried to beat Launch Octopus Buster only without getting hit? Because now I have, and I have exited this fight a fundamentally different person. Not better, not stronger, just different. The same way a building is different after you've driven a car through it. The dude has 2 attacks. Laundry washer spin cycle, which is good. We want this. And the I'm gonna empty my pockets and hope it works. We don't want this. The only reason I survived is because at some point he started spamming tornadoes for most of the fight, like the game took pity on me or something. By the end of this, I wanted to reach into the screen and throw him into a brick wall and see how he likes it. Chill Penguin's up next though. My cousin, my beloved. 4 tries on this stage, which was mostly just me being a dumbass. Now, I know what you're saying.
Rarno, you can't even do this challenge because there's no way to skip the leg.
Yeah, shut up a sec. Chill Penguin stage gives you the dash upgrade whether you want it or not. The game does not ask consent. There are ways to bypass the capsule, like using a charged chameleon sting or a charged rolling shield, but obviously without being able to use boss weapons or charge our special weapons, that won't work. So the plan is, I'll just collect it, and we'll just simply pretend it doesn't exist like the money in our Christmas cards. If you and I can both agree to look the other way, I promise I'll have X take them off. Does that make you happy? Will that make you less likely to judge me in the comments? Actually, judge me anyway, it's good for engagement. Oh right, Chill Penguin was free.
My mommy always said I was headstrong.
Yeah, buddy, this isn't what she meant. After we clean up all 8 Mavericks, Zero comes running in and going, "Hey X, we found Sigma, let's go!" I do some lovely magic and we start climbing. All right, well, before we continue, there is something I want to do. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! Magic, just like that. The next 3 stages were by far the hardest part of the X1 run, and I had some authentic rage moments during this section. Stage 1, we run into Vile almost immediately, take our second instance of force damage, and Zero blows up the right armor, which gives us the actual fight. And look, this is supposed to be this incredible moment where X explodes with power, the HP bar maxes out. It's supposed to feel like a superhero awakening. Except we're at base health, so we fill up like 10 units and X is standing there looking less like a hero unlocking his true power, and more like a very small man who's just really angry that Vile stole one of his french fries. And then Vile just dashes back and forth, over and over, like literally, Pac-Man doesn't eat as many dots as this dude ate lemons. Anticlimactic, but I'll take it. Zero then gives me his arm cannon, which by the way is literally required to beat Sigma without boss weapons. If you honestly expected me to hold out on charging this to the full level now, if you think this counts as cheating, I encourage you to really sit with that opinion, really hold it close, and then shove it directly up your ass.
Zero! Are you okay, Zero? X, do you think Iris will still love me without any legs? Oh.
Anyways, the rest of the stage, whoo boy. Whoever designed this section clearly never in their life considered someone would arrive here with just the Buster, and why would you? You're supposed to be using Rolling Shield, the Chameleon Sting, you're not supposed to be me. I got so angry here I had to step away and calm down, which is not something I say lightly because it's just not something I do often. And then right after that, they make you fight Boomer Kawanger again because apparently I hadn't suffered enough. On the bright side, at least Michael Jackson EXE has stopped responding because this was more of the same and it didn't work the first time, but you know what? I actually love this about X1. The Mavericks aren't just sitting in capsules at the end of the game like every other Mega Man title. They're scattered through the Sigma stages and you have to fight through them on the way. It's such a cool idea that they did it once and then went, alright, we're never doing that again. Oh, we also fight Boss Spider, which is a stupid name for what is essentially a giant chrome ceiling fixture that decided to become violent. It descends, I shoot it, it had a dream, I ended it. Moving on. Sigma Stage 2. I'll be honest with you, I've been sitting here trying to figure out how to describe this stage diplomatically, and I really can't. Chill Penguin refight to start, which is easy as hell, and then Storm Eagle, and unlike in his original stage, you can't run under him. You're expected to dash, which yes, is a reasonable expectation for literally anyone on Earth who isn't me. So when he decided to dive directly at my head and I'm slightly out of position, I'm eating it. There's nothing I can do. He made me look like I never held a controller in my life. I'm gonna be thinking about this on my deathbed. I haven't had a boss squeeze my balls like this since Duo in Battle Network 4, but at least Duo had the decency to do it in his own stage. By comparison, the big wall with a face at the end of the stage is one of the easiest bosses in the game. Both those things happen in one stage. I don't know who designed the difficulty curve here, but I'd like to talk to them briefly with my bare hands. Sigma Stage 3 isn't any better. The final boss is easy, fine, great, but the refights in here are relentless. First, we do Armadillo again, which if you thought 8 minutes of him blocking everything was fun the first time, I got great news for you. Then Sting Chameleon, who decided that cooperation was simply not on the table this time and teleported constantly while I collected ceiling spikes with my face. And then, they put Spark Mandrill and Launch Octopus back to back because someone at Capcom in 1993 specifically hated me. They put Launch Octopus second to last specifically because they had a meeting and one of them went, hey, fuck this Rarno guy in particular. In 30 years, he's gonna fucking hate everything. I beat Mandrill after probably 30 minutes of suffering, feeling good, feeling accomplished, and Octopus looks me dead in the eyes and goes, damn bud, I'm sorry, but you're dead. And then after all of that, Guess what? We got more laser gates, except this time there's approximately 10,000 enemies on the screen because the game wasn't done fucking me yet. After that, though, we get Flame Mammoth and D-Rex? The fuck is this, Land Before Time? Bro looks like the Tesla Cybertruck if it was actually what people wanted and not a goddamn trapezoid. No. But after all that, we finally get to Sigma, and after everything that came before this, Sigma himself is almost relaxing. Reject Treble and Luke Skywalker Sigma are both some of the easiest bosses in the game. The fight is just him aggressively going, "Ooh, I'm gonna get ya, I'm gonna get ya," and then he becomes Majora's Mask wearing a fursuit. You're welcome for that image, by the way. We need to be super careful in this phase without the dash because going under his attacks just isn't an option. We need to jump on his left hand. Right hand? Left? His left hand is on the right side of the screen. Shut up. Once we're up, we can literally just stand there and charge shot him to death. X will have his little existential monologue about what it means to fight, what it means to be alive, you know, the usual. And Mega Man X, no upgrades, sort of. Buster only, no damage, is all done. X2's up next, which I'd like to tell you gets easier from here, but I respect you too much to lie to you. X2 opens with the most devastating loss in the Mega Man series. Green biker dude just out here living his life, riding his bike, probably thinking about what he's having for dinner, whether he remembered to call his mom, if his bike needs an oil change. Gone in seconds, no name, no ceremony. The game just moves on like it didn't happen. I've beaten this game multiple times and every time it gets me. 07's in the chat, please. He was the best of us. He was all of us. Anyways, onto a lighter note, we have the dash built in now, and the difference this makes in comparison to X1 is staggering. I was actually a little worried going into X2 that I wouldn't have much to talk about because of just how much smoother everything feels. I was wrong about that, but we'll get there. It's an intro stage. Need I say more? Now, for our 8 Mavericks this time, we have 7 more animal-themed bosses and Wire Sponge, who is neither a sponge nor Kevin from SpongeBob. He is, according to my extensive research of typing it into Google, technically based off a loofah. Wire Sponge is a cucumber. I'm not hearing any debate over this. He's also our first stop. This stage took me a few tries to get my legs under me with the dash, but then I was flying through like it was nothing. Wire Sponge himself is an easy boss, and since he's usually my first pick in X2 anyway, this was nothing. Next we'll go to Wheel Gator, which is also usually my second pick. Half the stage you're just in a ride armor, and if you grab the capsule here you'll get the air dash, which by the end of the game I would come to deeply mourn the loss of the air dash. Gator himself only dived down on me once, so he was very cooperative. I've never seen that attack before. What the fuck? This is also where Dr. Kane shows up alive, which makes the Day of Sigma OVA non-canon. Good job, Capcom. You really nailed the continuity when you made that. He tells us about Zero's parts being held by the X-Hunters, and I know some of you are typing right now going, "You should fight Zero at the end." And I say to you, respectfully, I would like to keep what little sanity I have left after X1, so we're going after the X-Hunters and bringing Zero back. Flamestag stage is next, and surprise, surprise, it's easy. However, we have to fight Sergei's here, and this old man is a bitch. Fun fact about this little fuck nugget, he's actually Dr. Wily. Dr. Light wasn't the only one who figured out how to kick his consciousness into the future. And in the original Japanese script of X2, Sergei says something along the lines of,
"Woe is me, being defeated by Light's robotic legacy again!"
or something like that, which is pretty cool lore. What is not so cool is actually fighting him, because for whatever reason, my brain completely refused to process this man. This is the easy version of the fight too. I don't know what it is about him, he just breaks something in my head. We'll revisit this when the harder version of him nearly finishes me off, but pause. Anyways, after dealing with that headache, Flamestag himself, what's he gonna do? Jump on the left wall, jump on the right wall? Oh no! Tony the Tiger's adoptive cousin Barry is another I'm gonna get you fight that never actually gets you. At least he tries with a couple of projectiles. Morph Moth is up next, and again the stage is mostly unremarkable except for the X-Hunter fight. This time, Violin. The absolute unit of a robot is best described as just an RNG wrecking ball simulator. Even if you know his weakness, the fight is still just wrecking ball go brr! Wait a minute, this guy's just Donkey Kong with a chain chomp trying to slap the Sonic rings out of me. The actual stage boss though, off memory, it's one of the only 2-stage boss fights that's not a final boss fight. His patterns are neat, he has 2 distinct forms, and look, I don't know how to say this, but he's pretty. He went through a whole transition in this boss fight and came out the other side looking fantastic, and I think that deserves acknowledgement. Good for her. Magnus Centipede is up next, and for once, not even the X-Hunter is worth mentioning. Here, we're fighting the idea of the Master Sword, not even the Master Sword itself, just the idea of it. Agile just kind of does this the whole time. And the third boss of the stage just goes,
Hey, buddy. Hey, I gotta do your cup check and make sure you get the beer, you know. I'm just gonna grab your balls here. Where the fuck you going?
Magnus Centipede himself was a little bit annoying because he kept just deciding to suck me off, and Mega Man gets so drained that he can't even dash or wall jump it. Wow, that sounds so wrong. Regardless, I should probably call the authorities, but ultimately he ends up like everyone else in this run, trash under my boots. With the X-Hunters handled, Dr. King gets to work rebuilding Zero, and we go fight Overdrive Ostrich, which means we get to ride a bike! That's it, that's the whole stage. I can't keep telling you these were easy because they were. This just looks like someone made the fucking Roadrunner into a Digimon, and he's not even a cool one. He's just a background Digimon that was over-designed with no real presentation. Okay. Crystal Snail, however, look, could I just be bad at the game? Yes, absolutely yes, but this boss had it out for me. Every single time I'd start to feel good about the fight, feeling the rhythm, feeling like I had it figured out. Crystal Prison, get fucked, and I could just not for the life of me consistently dodge them. Then immediately after that nightmare, Bubble Crab, who I expected to be hard, turned out to be one of the most cooperative bosses of the entire run. If you just jump over him, he deletes his own shield, and that's it. Thanks, Crab. With that, 8 bosses down. 1 was worth a damn. 3 if you count Sergase and Violin, but it's Sigma stage time. Now here's the thing. The developers of X2 looked at what they did in X1 with the Maverick scattered through the fortress stages and said, yeah, we're not doing that again. Throw them all in capsules at stage 3. So for stages 1 and 2, the real question is whether the enemies posed any threat. Stage 1, we refight Violin, and this version has more movement to him, but if you just hug this block like a hippie hugs a tree, he can't do anything to you. So fine, stage 2. I have been sitting here trying to find words for stage 2 that accurately convey the experience without getting this video taken down. And I'm not sure I can do it, but I'm gonna try. Sergase rides into the room on a motorized stapler or a fucking knuckle duster, I don't know. And the machine he's piloting has 4 cannons on it, each one firing a completely different projectile. You got bouncing bullshit, laser frisbees of fuck, curving cockballs, and piss lasers. God, I'm sounding more like AVGN every day. Each of these cannons needs to be broken, and if you can't get the top one fast enough, you are simply going to have a bad time, because the stuff just does not stop coming, and that's not even the whole fight. I'm telling you, I can't track more than one thing on screen at once. It's a medical condition, and I'm stuck here using a buster with no upgrades, no boss weapons, no air dash, nothing. The number of times one of those projectiles just randomly tagged me was offensive. This isn't even the hardest section of X2, and yet it's still maddening as hell. With Sergase finally dead, we move on to stage 3, which is comparatively peaceful on the boss front. Agile's easy, basically a boss designed specifically to get one shot by the Shoryuken, and without it, he's still not that bad. Shifty Sam shakes sideways, slamming spikes southbound savagely. Sorry. The actual stage, though, nearly made me crash out completely because there's a section in here that normally gets skipped with Crystal Snail's weapon, and without it, I now understand why 90% of players never see what this section actually looks like. This shit is capital A ass.
The fuck kind of game is this? I'm trying to play Mega Man.
Stage 4 is finally capsule time. All the Mavericks are back and they're all easy. I mean, what else can I say? I really don't understand why, but Capcom decided to recycle Magna's Centipede stage for the final level. Is it lack of memory in the SNES cartridge, or I don't know, someone let me know. So we go through the stage, find Sigma and Black Zero, except because we collected all of Zero's parts, we don't have to fight him this time. In comes our boy looking absolutely clean with his Z-Saber and his fresh coat of paint, and Sigma this time is practicing his Wolverine cosplay instead of the Luke Skywalker thing he was doing in X1. And just like the first game, the initial phase is pretty easy. At least he makes an attempt to hit me this time. Phase 2 though, Wireframe Sigma. I want to be very calm and rational with my words here, but what the fuck is this? This glorified PlayStation 1 tech demo that achieves sentience comes at you spamming enemies and running into you. Half the fight, he isn't even fighting you himself, and without being able to use the chain strike to deal massive damage to him or the air dash to make dodging him so much easier, I'm standing here with my little buster going but what is effectively a PlayStation 1 screensaver, and it's not going well. After Sergei's, Crystal Snail, and even Storm Eagle stole my will to reproduce, after all of that, this is what finishes me off. A wireframe head. Storm Eagle took me like what, 30 tries? Sergei's like 40? This took double that combined. When he does finally go down, Zero and I walk off into the sunset like two gay lovers, and X2 is done. So now it's time for, drumroll please. Okay, that's enough. That's enough.
I said that's enough, no dinner.
Mega Man X3. The story this time around goes like this. After X and Zero spent 2 games absolutely dismantling Sigma's plans, a brilliant scientist named Dr. Doppler steps up and goes, "I figured it out! The Maverick virus! I fixed it!" And people believed him. They built an entire city around this guy called Doppeltown, where humans and Reploids lived together in peace. And then a few months later, every single Reploid he supposedly cured went berserk simultaneously and attacked Maverick Hunter HQ. Turns out Doppler was infected the whole time. His cure was a placebo and he'd been secretly building Sigma a brand new body. The man ran the longest con in Reploid history and everyone just bought it because he seemed smart and had a nice city. Incredible. Back to work. The intro stage, and this is different because this time Zero's here and Zero is playable. Watching him run through all these enemies with his Z-Saber is one of the coolest things in the series. Yes, it doesn't last long, but X is just standing there with his little lemons and Zero's just erasing everything in the room with the laser sword like it's nothing. And then he gets taken off the board almost immediately after and you're left with X and his charge shots and lemons. Thanks for showing me what could have been, game. Really appreciate it. I highly suggest if you play X3 yourself, go with Project Zero. You can thank me later. I got hit 6 times on this intro stage, which is by far our worst performance in any of the opening stages, but after that we get our 8 Mavericks on the board, so let's go. We'll start with Blizzard Buffalo, who is fine. I have nothing bad to say and nothing to report. Although, here's something interesting. His AI is so broken you can just jump when he looks at you and he'll slam his head into the wall, so that's neat. You play peekaboo with an infant, but instead of your face behind your hands, it's a Glock 21 and we keep pumping shots of .45 caliber justice up his ass. I do respect his commitment to the bit though. Moving immediately to Toxic Seahorse, whose stage is also pretty manageable. The fight can be a bit annoying when he goes into his enhanced state, but I'm gonna be honest guys, X3 is so much easier than the other games to me. This Seahorse neck is groovin', but he fucking sucks at dodgeball. Neon Tiger's up next, and he's probably the hardest of the 8 X3 Mavericks. The tail shot comes fast, the claw swipe comes fast, and for some reason my brain just can't compute sometimes. But for the most part, Tony and Barry's 4th cousin twice removed, Terrence, does not have the sauce. He's better at blocking, but he still just dives in straight lines that don't actually seem like he's aiming at me and just more like he's trying to get exercise. Tunnel Rhino is next, and the stage is whatever, though the mini-boss clearly doesn't understand that you can't get walls pregnant. But we do get to fight Bit here, and I wanted to talk about Bit for a second because the fight is genuinely just super fun. Bit and Bite are Doppler's personal enforcers sent to bring X in, and fighting Bit Buster only was one of the highlights of the run. Clean fight, good patterns, satisfying to crack. I think the fight with both of these guys and Vile, spoiler, Vile is back, are a lot more fun when you have air dash, but even without it, they're super fun. Tunnel Rhino on the other hand, doesn't really do anything. It really is just a bullfight where the challenge wasn't the bullets you pump into his ass as much as it was seeing if he could handle the stage 4 concussion he gave himself. Blast Hornet's our next stage, and I think he's probably the second most annoying in X3. Halfway through the stage, we have to sit through FedEx bringing packages in, because if I can't get my upgrades, then neither can anyone else. Hey boss, is cargo lighter than it should be? Fuck it, that's the customer's problem. They're the 463rd stop today. The boss has a stupid pattern. I don't know how else to say it other than that. Half of it feels like a design fight, and half of it feels like he's just winging it up there. He really is a pain, but it gets even worse when Mr. Pain starts summoning his baby cousins of the boo-boos. Like, yay, you know it's better than 1B? 7! Our fifth boss stage is Crush Crawfish, and this stage has both Bite and Vile as optional fights. Bite is a great time, though someone should probably explain to him that bombs work best when you don't take them yourself. I could have fucking outsourced this fight by handing him a grenade and telling him to pull the pin and drop the spoon, because he loves explosions so much, he'll watch it up close. If he was a person, he would have 2 brain cells fighting for 3rd place. Honestly, I guess you could say he, bite the fucking dust? And then Vile. Now, this is the first time in any of my X3 runs I did not kill Vile right away, and the reason for that is simple. I only have the Buster. You need to use, I think, Neon Tiger's weapon to put Vile down the first time you meet him, so Vile lives. Honestly, he's got a good track record with getting away, huh? Phase 1 of this fight is just him bringing a Rock'em Sock'em robot to a gunfight and being shocked that it doesn't work. Second phase was just juggling him by his own jumps. He did the same thing every time. But then it's time for Arts and Crafts with HOA Mom Crush Crawfish. Here on this episode, we'll learn about throwing shit at children for not being the acceptable level of creative. Next up will be Volt Catfish, and I have to stop and talk about the stage theme because earlier I said Boomer Kawanger's theme might be my favorite in all of Mega Man history, but like I said, we can't undersell Volt Catfish. This shit is a banger. Definitely my favorite stage theme in X3, and genuinely one of my favorite tracks in the entire series. The stage itself is so ass though. This is the stage I took the most hits on, and it really pissed me off, but hey, that music. Volt Catfish is mostly a fair fight right up until he gets to a certain health threshold and just goes into his enhanced mode. Better close that mouth before I put some in it. He starts randomly flinging things around the screen, and at that point it stops being a skill test and starts being, oh hey, I hope you're good at dodging at the perfect angle. You're just standing there going, okay, is this one gonna hit me or not? And the answer is most often than not, yes. I did get lucky eventually, but damn was it a pain in the ass. Gravity Beetle will close out our 8 Mavericks, and this guy is just super easy. One of the more relaxed fights in the entire series. I mean, after Neon Tiger and Volt Catfish, he's so easy to dodge. Though I would like to know why this Rhinoceros Beetle's ass is trying to escape to another dimension. With 8 Mavericks down, Doppler's Fortress rises out of the ground like it was waiting for us, and here we go. Doppler Stage 1 is not that bad. The stage has hazards, spike ceilings, wall crushers, the usual Fortress welcome package, but nothing that broke me. And then we fight Bit and Bite combined into one giant robot at the end. They went from 2 dudes just chilling to a fucking god of Robo-Deer. Where did they get the sword? Neither of them had the sword. The fat one was just wanting to chew on fucking Silly Putty all the damn time by ramming his head into mines, and the other one wasn't even relevant. Alright, let's calm down. All you have to do is dash under his sword swings over and over. Peekaboo Baby Episode 3, Lack of the Brain Cells. We just disrespected him, and I feel good about it. Doppler Stage 2 is where things fall apart, because we can't use special weapons, can't use armor, and can't get hit. We have to move through this stage at a pace so slow I could have started a family in Siberia and watched my kids graduate college. Every room gets treated like it's made out of glass because one wrong move sends everything back to the start of the stage. And then there's the elevator at the end, if you can call it that. It's really just 2 minutes standing on the backs of snails, ascending at a pace that suggests the snail also has somewhere to be but can't bring itself to care. All while the game steadily loads more enemies onto the screen like it's adding shit to its grocery list. I have never felt more at peace and more in danger simultaneously. And then, completely out of nowhere, Vile shows up. I've never fought Vile in Doppler Stage 2 before in my life. I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't know he came here if you didn't kill him, so here I am, not prepared, slightly emotionally compromised from the elevator, and Vile Mark II walks in like he owns the place. That was a surprise, but what wasn't a surprise is how easily he crumpled when I shot him in the stupid face. Doppler Stage 3 is the rematch gauntlet, and they've helpfully tweaked things so that enemies hit their enhanced mode much faster, sometimes immediately from the start of the fight, which is a cute little way of making every returning boss more annoying than they were before. Most of them are basically the same fight though, and we get through the majority without anything too dramatic. Catfish and Tiger is still the most miserable of the bunch, all for the same reasons as before, because Catfish and his chaotic bullshit and Tiger with his everything. Doppler walks in, and I want to give the man the respect he deserves. Remember, he ran the longest con in Reploid history, entire city, fake cure, brand new body for Sigma, some really impressive stuff. And then he walks into the room and starts slowly shuffling towards me like he's looking for the bathroom at 2 a.m. So, Dr. Doppler, what do you have for us?
Well, Rarno, we have a 100% chance of rain after I cry my eyes out about how completely ineffectual I am against Mega Man, because slowly walking up and slamming my head into the back wall is not a good strategy.
Turns out the Sigma virus was using him the whole time, and Doppler was just a puppet. In his final moments, he tells X, Sigma's already moved into the new body that got built for him, and X needs to get there and destroy it before it's too late. That brings us to Doppler Stage 4. Sigma, finally. And I want to say something I was not expecting to say. Sigma's first phase in X3 is a great fight. He comes in with his Captain America cosplay and a flamethrower right off snorting a line of caffeine. I had a real good time with this one. It's probably the best Sigma opener of the 3 games in my opinion, but it's also the hardest. All for the same reasons that he's a fun fight, he's also really fucking annoying. The amount of times I walked into the fight and started hearing da-na-na-na-na-na, 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 and then just got my balls singed off was not fun. Phase 2 is Kaiser Sigma because this piece of shit cannot accept defeat gracefully at all. This time, Giant Robot, the ultimate battle body that Doppler spent who knows how long constructing. The Megazord. And look, it's an impressive looking thing, big armor takes up half the screen, fantastic, but the hitbox on this thing has to be one of the worst in the series. His weak point is his tiny, stupid little head, which is surrounded by giant shoulder armor that eats charge shots like it's nothing. He doesn't do a whole lot besides go back and forth across the screen, but the missiles and homing mines are what we really need to worry about, because if you jump on the wall at the wrong time, you're just gonna get clipped and die. Hey buddy, Mother Brain called, she'd like her royalties on that attack. Once that's done, the Sigma virus in its pure form chases X through a corridor flooding with lava, which is not a fight as much as it's just exercise. Zero rushes in with antivirus loaded into his saber, drives it directly into Sigma, and that's it. Sigma explodes, the lab goes with him, and X and Zero rush out into the open air. X gets his existential monologue as always about why Reploids fight each other, how he's gonna have to kill Zero one day, which won't happen till X5, so whatever. And that's Mega Man X 1, 2, and 3, Buster only, no upgrades, and no damage. X3 was probably the most fun run, even though it's, funnily enough, my least favorite of the trilogy. The Doppler Stage 2 elevator took like 3 years off my life, but other than that, it felt almost balanced. But wow, that's Mega Man X 1, 2, and 3, mission complete. All around, it made the games at least 6 times as miserable as usual, except in X3's case, where I barely use any special weapons anyway. The challenge gets a solid 2 out of 5 on how tough it was. Are you surprised? Cause I am. Yeah, there was sections like Sigma in X2 and Storm Eagle in X1 that made me want to commit myself to a mental asylum, but overall, that's the score I'm giving it. Make sure you sub if you like watching me suffer through stupid masochistic game challenges, and thank you all so much for watching, and as always, super special awesome Ko-Fi supporters Banjo, Anima, and Yo scrolling across the screen right now, and a special shout out to D-Electric Judas once again for helping script this video, which has made things so much easier. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye bye!